Okay, so I have purchased two anti-snoring mouthpieces that I'm going to do a comparison on. One is the Zyppah anti-snoring device. The other is the Snorple anti-snoring mouthpiece. Right off the bat, you can see the differences in packaging. Zyppah appears to just come in a nice little box, while Snorple comes in a nice little bag. Different coloring. You can see the design of the Snorple on the front, and it has the instructions on the back. We'll get started with the Zyppah anti-snoring device first. Don't judge my box cutter. Had to make do because I've lost all of my other box cutters. All right, so right off the bat, we have some nice little website information here. Picture of a couple that's sleeping nicely. I noticed that neither of them have a Zyppah in. Maybe there's an invisible Zyppah. And we have a Zyppah device case that comes with the product. This is also encased in plastic. And there's also a QR code on the bottom. Looks pretty faded. I have no idea how I'd be able to scan that QR code, but maybe it works. Perhaps I'll try that later. Okay, right off the bat, I noticed that we've got some multiple different materials here. We have the rubbery material that is going to obviously mold to the teeth. A slightly different material for the tongue strap here, possibly so that that doesn't mold. And then we have the hardened plastic that keeps the rigidity of the device itself. Zyppah logo on the front over the word Zyppah. And a gap in the middle so that you can breathe. One thing that I'm noticing before I even mold this, these edges are extremely sharp. I mean, for the inside of your mouth, you would assume that these edges would be blunt and rounded. However, that seems like it would cause some discomfort. But I could be wrong. Now, I notice that this is not an adjustable mouthpiece. However, it does look like it comes in multiple parts. Perhaps you could break this apart and adjust it. I'll have to take a look at that later. We'll do that after I mold it. We'll put it back in its carrying case here and set that off to the side. Don't need my box cutter for this one. Speaking of which, safety first. Had to break the QR code to get into the package, so I won't be able to scan that later. Go me. But luckily, it's got the www.snorple.com right on the package, so I don't really need the QR code. Now, quite simple. It looks like all the instructions come right on the back, so you don't need anything more than that. Carrying case for your Snorple mouthpiece. So right off the bat, I'm noticing that there aren't those sharp edges that you find in the Zyppah, and it feels like a higher quality. The tongue bumpers, as they call them, instead of the tongue straps, are rigid and are going to keep the tongue in place, I hope. Snorple for snoring people. It seems like it has the same material as the Zyppah for the moldable portion of the device. However, it's obviously a different color. This device seems smaller than the Zyppah, which is interesting because the Zyppah comes in a smaller carrying case. Let's do a little side-by-side comparison here. Definitely smaller, height-wise. About the same width-wise. It's definitely slimmer towards the front of the mouth, which seems fitting because your teeth don't go straight back like the Zyppah suggests, but perhaps both of them work well. The edges of the Snorple towards the back where your molars would sit are coming out a little bit further on the side, but that seems like it would have a natural bite position. I notice immediately how much further back the tongue strap is than the tongue bumpers in the standard position. Now, I know that this is adjustable because I read it on their website. So let's see how easily adjustable it is. I was a little worried that I was going to break it there, but it seems to be very well made so that you don't break it. So it was in the flush position. I'm going to move it forward one to make it more simulate the bite position like the Zyppah. Very similar in stance now. However, the Snorple is still much thinner. The Zyppah is very, very thick. I also noticed that the tongue bumpers are adjustable here. When I took this apart, it looks like the tongue bumpers can come out. So you can take them out entirely if you like. However, I know that having the suppression of the tongue definitely helps to stop snoring. Get it back to our position here. All right. So in the furthest back position, the Snorple tongue bumpers do go further back than the tongue guard on the, I think they call it a tongue strap for Zyppah. So right off the bat, having the adjustability of the Snorple is definitely better for me. I have a feeling when I actually try to put these in my mouth that having this that far back is going to be extremely uncomfortable. I'm actually going to move this forward into the forward position, trying to avoid any type of innuendos here. I actually have a very shallow mouth, and I'm hoping that that forward position will provide optimum comfort for me. I'm also going to adjust the jaw forward slightly for the bite position. All right, and now we're going to go mold our devices. So we brought our water to a rolling boil, and we've dropped our Zyppah mouthpiece in. The packaging says that we need to leave it in for about 30 seconds. I don't think that's necessary. A good 10 seconds will do. All right. And there we have a nicely molded Zyppah. So I bit down, now we have a nicely molded Zyppah here. Molded very well to my teeth. I noticed, I think based on my underbite, I believe I have a little bit of an underbite. What that's causing, as you can see here, with lack of adjustment, it's causing my teeth to sit very far back on that bottom portion, which is a little uncomfortable having the teeth right against the plastic there. I may try to remold this one to try and get a better bite. Okay, so I've decided to remold this to try and get a better bite here. Let's see how we do. It's really not necessary to do the full 30 to 45 seconds. You'll get a good mold.
Remolding. It's hard to talk.
As you can see, I got a much better mold on that second one. However, I'm still very far back on that bottom piece. I think I'm actually going to set the Snorple to its standard position before I mold it. I feel like that'll be better for my mouth. However, if you've got a little bit of an underbite, I think I said underbite earlier. I have a little bit of an overbite. If you have a little bit of an underbite, this may be more comfortable for you. The nice thing about the Snorple is it's adjustable regardless of your bite position. I have adjusted my Snorple and I'm ready to dunk this guy now. And here we go. Now the Snorple packaging actually says 60 seconds. However, it's the same material as any moldable mouth guard. So I think a good solid 10 to 15 seconds is going to be all we need once again. Okay. I'm going to have to put the phone down so I can grab this thing out of here. Oh, wait. Haha.
This is way more comfortable. Still hard to talk though, because the tongue bumpers are holding my tongue in place. Good.
Okay, now that both of our devices are molded, I'm going to do a quick just post-assessment before I actually use them to fall asleep. I'm going to use the Zyppah tonight and the Snorple tomorrow night, and I will provide a assessment afterwards of how I slept. So, like I said, this is not adjustable. It is one single bite position. I understand that thrusting the jaw forward actually helps prevent snoring, as well as the tongue strap. However, when I put this in my mouth, that tongue strap is entirely too far back, and it gags me. Also, even thrusting my bottom teeth forward, my jaw forward, I can only really get my teeth even with one another. I can't really get my bottom teeth in front of my top teeth, which is what this bite position would suggest that I do. I don't know if anybody else is going to struggle with that, but I definitely, before even using this, prefer the adjustability of Snorple for snoring people. I think I should say that every time I look at that logo with the letters right underneath it. Zyppah, Snorple. Now I thought having these small breathing holes was going to impede my breathing a lot. It really doesn't. I was able to breathe normally. If I was trying to take a very sharp breath, I noticed it, but I'm not going to be taking sharp breaths in my sleep. So I think the breathing will be just fine. As you can see, my bite position is very similar to that on the Zyppah. However, having that adjustability, I was able to get my lower teeth right into the center, whereas here I'm almost rubbing against the plastic. I also noticed when I put this in, this wasn't nearly as sharp as I anticipated. However, that may become irritating at night. This has zero irritation whatsoever. I think it's now time to test the Zyppah. Good night, guys. Okay, so I tested the Zyppah. Not bad, not horrible. It definitely took some getting used to having something in my mouth while I was sleeping. However, I woke up repeatedly just because of this tongue strap. I know that having the tongue held in place or held down helps to stop snoring. And I know that having the jaw position pushed forward on the bottom also helps to stop snoring. However, this is way too far back. It really started to irritate me throughout the night, and there were a couple times where I even gagged. I'm not a huge fan. It may work for most people. It may work for most people because it does effectively do those two things: move the jaw forward and hold the tongue in place. For me, it didn't work. It worked, but it was horribly uncomfortable. Definitely not using it again. I would rather snore. Well, later tonight, we'll give this guy a shot. Good luck, Snorple.
Already feeling better than the Zyppah. We'll see how good it is.
Okay, that's better. The Snorple was phenomenal. It was so much more comfortable. This was far forward enough that it didn't bother me. However, in a perfect position to actually hold the tongue in place. The breathing holes were more than wide enough. I was able to get good airflow throughout the night. The bite position was super comfortable, and the fact that it's actually thinner and has a little bit of a spring to it actually works well to its advantage. As my jaw relaxed and loosened up, my bite stayed in place. That little bit of spring held tension against the teeth, and the tongue, as you can see, there's still saliva on it. I apologize for that. And the tongue bumpers held my teeth in place, or my tongue in place without gagging me. The adjustability of this device just made it so much better. The Zyppah's not bad, especially if it fits your mouth well. However, it really didn't fit mine well. So the adjustability of this one, the adjustability of the Snorple, really just made all the difference in the world to me. Like I said, I wanted to take this apart because I noticed that it comes in two pieces. So let me try and do that now. This is the Zyppah. And okay, so the two pieces do come apart. However, there is zero adjustability there. I'm not sure if you could, no, there's no adjustability there. And it does look like the tongue bumper comes out, or the tongue strap. Yeah, I think they call that a tongue strap. Zyppah's tongue strap does come out, it looks like, but I'm not going to do that. If I was to use this, I would definitely be taking the tongue strap out just to increase the comfort a little bit. However, that would probably decrease its efficiency for sure. Effectiveness, not efficiency. Now, this guy, like I said, adjustable, durable. Every time I peel this thing apart, I think that, oh God, I'm going to break this. And then it pops right at that point of tension there. And I realize this thing is so well designed for pulling apart and putting back together that I'm probably never going to break this. Now, still adjustable. I can still move the jaw bite position forward. I can remold it now or just use it as I want to, as with that forward position. I can still take the tongue bumper out. I can use the tongue bumper in this position and see if that's just as effective. Actually, I haven't tried this configuration yet. I might try that tonight. Probably won't do a video for it. The point is, it's adjustable. It works so well. I stopped snoring. You can stop snoring too. My vote, Snorple, for snoring people. Real quick, one of the things I forgot to mention, obviously I have chosen the Snorple device as my preferred anti-snoring mouthpiece. This was actually $30 cheaper than the Zyppah. The materials feel better. It feels like higher quality. It's more comfortable. It's adjustable, and it's cheaper. So Snorple, head and shoulders above the competition.